Hey, Kadra Joe Gore here for apophatic fooding. Apophatic, an unusual Greek word that talks about what God is not. So we talk about cosmopolitan issues, big subjects, and look at them from perspectives of what they're not used to looking at them for. Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, a guy named Voltaire, Katie Bryan, everybody's got interesting points that we could all benefit from, all while we're cooking great stuff on apophaticfooding.com. Hey, Joe Gore here for Apophatic Fooding in Da Dome, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. What a wonderful facility to think about cooking, fooding in unusual ways. And even to the point where la chef, which I'm not, a cook, is switching his own programming as a technical director, which I am and have been for a while. So let's hope the fingers don't get confused. But either way, welcome to apophatic, which is an unusual word. And think about apophatic, Greek roots, talking about God and what God is more not than what he is. And that's a pretty popular subject nowadays, people fighting and killing each other over whose God is the real God. Like, hello. But either way, we're not going there. It's just something to think about. If apophatic can be religious, apophatic can be relating to food, on what food is not, which is really searching for the reality of food and issues like it in a very contemporary, modern surrounding like we have. Today I'm going to do a simple tomato sauce, but not so simple that you can buy it out of the store, even though we're going to go to the store for the base products. So let's get going. First thing, I'm an onion nut. Raw, caramelized, a lot. I'll cook those guys and make a nice brown out of them like we're about to do. Gets more flavor, gets the sugary, sweeter taste out of an onion, even if it's a sweet onion like the Vidalias that we have in South Georgia. So let me get a little bit of olive oil going. A plain olive oil. For this, you don't use an extra virgin. Spend that kind of money and resources. Plain, pure olive oil is good for this. And we'll take an onion, which I have cut over from a previous program, or as you call it in your house, leftovers. And we'll take out the outside and cut it up. Or sometimes I just put it in my hand over the dish like you saw on the last one. And here we go. You decide. There's no recipe on how much really. Kind of depends on how much you like onions, and I love them, and how big you want to cut them up. Now these are the outside, so they're firm, and that's why they're ideal for caramelizing. Letting that heat do its work and tenderizing them and sweetening them and adding that cooked flavor. And then, of course, the stinking rose. We're going to try and do some magic here and insert a box so that you got two eyes. You should be able to look at two pictures at once. No? Isn't that how it works? Some garlic going. Can't have too much garlic. Well, you know, it really isn't that bad if it's not raw. That's when it bites, and that's when it makes your breath. P-U. But you cook it up. Well, what I like to do, we're not going to do here, is you broil the garlics. You take a whole clove, cut the top off a little bit, and that's going to be a base for some olive oil. Pull off all the loose skins and put it on into a pan, into a broiler, the oven. A little oil and let it cook for a few minutes. They come out so soft and sweet. You pop them in your mouth, use them on the side of a dish, on almost any veggie or meat dish, Spread it on bread as butter. Yep, it's that good and sweet when you really get them right. But not today. I hear my little onion starting to work. Let me get that heat up. Voila. Now, you know, in its purest form, you get tomatoes to make tomato sauce. That's work. I mean, I'm usually doing more work than most people are willing or can do in a kitchen anyway. But to go that route, picking them, peeling them, de-seeding them, jarring them or not, if timely, you can just take them out of the garden. That's a very sliver of the population. This is more contemporary and more common use. So if we got this, Joe can switch into this pot now and take a look at this. Cameras. That'd be nice. Because there's not much more going on down here except a little bit later. Now, what do you want? A tomato sauce. Kind of simple. Go buy a tomato sauce, heat it up, and you're done. Yeah, you're done. Yeah, you're done. Yeah. Yeah. But even there's choices. And usually, some of them, I see some of them are like $9 a bottle, really. I mean, some pretty picture of an old Italian lady and special tomatoes and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the stuff on sale for $1 a jar. Nah, and there's nothing wrong with $1, except read the ingredients. Okay, what do you want in a tomato sauce? Well, maybe some tomatoes. But the ingredients by law have to be in the order of what's the highest volume, what's mostly in there. Tomato, puree, parentheses, water, tomato paste. Water and tomato paste. Then there's some tomatoes, sugar, soybean oil, salt. Now, not bad, but tomato paste, you know, it's a product that went to a factory and they just massaged the heck out of it, took the nutrients out, and don't like that idea. I'm going to leave this off. You don't have to go chasing it with the camera. But you got another choice. Although this is premium organic with tomato and basil, you're never going to taste the basil, get fresh basil and put it in yourself. But the ingredients, organic whole peel tomatoes. That's what I'm looking for, right? The organic is nice, doesn't have to be. Well, tomatoes are not on the dirty dozen list, which we talked about, which is full of pesticides, etc. Tomatoes are not there. Fresh organic onions, organic extra virgin olive oil, salt, blah, blah, blah. This is the way to go. Now, if you want to convince yourself, you open up the both of them and see if it passes the smell test, as I think what a lot of people refer to, especially in politics. Not much passes the smell test in politics nowadays. Better. I actually don't have the most sensitive nose in the world. You probably sense a better difference. But now that we've got that started, look at those nice caramelized onions. So go chase that picture for a second. Show on in the insert. And you see they're nice and brown. Some of the onion, we're going to keep putting more onions and more garlic in. Now that we've got that much done, we've already got the basis for one fine tomato sauce. But not good enough. Now we'll put some more. Well, remember, we use the outside of the onion, the tougher one, for the caramelizing and sweetening of it. You take the center, which is always more tender, sweeter, and I like to imagine more nutritious, but there's probably not much reality in that. And then you cut it thin, because I'm not going to cook this sauce like the old grandma in the Godfather movie where they cook it for 6 hours. Get up at 6 a.m. and make a noon or 2 p.m. meal for the Godfather. The neighborhood I grew up in, it wasn't a mafia godfather, but each family, the old man was the godfather, and he wanted his food right. One of the few non-Italians in that neighborhood. But with a name like Dora, I passed. Now, my number one rule is more garlic. If you've got more time to waste, just keep piling it on. They'll love you for it. Okay. You can buy garlic that's already been in a jar and already cleaned off and everything like that. I've tried it. I just can't think it's as good as this. It doesn't taste quite as good. And also, I had to buy a ton of it. Couldn't use it all, depending on how quick you're cooking things with garlic. And now, this is where you personalize it, and I call it Agoraize a dish. And that is, you put in what you like, both in flavor or in nutrition. In this case, a pepper that's warm, not all that hot, not like the habaneros. That I leave to the maniacs who want to hurt themselves in the mouth. And the seeds. The seeds are hot. Get rid of the hot seeds. And the ribs, the parts in between the flesh, there's extra heat there. That can go away. And then again, if you cut it small, it becomes more like, salt or pepper or spice, rather than it hangs around waiting for you to bite into it and like a snake bites you back. But because you get the taste, you get the nutrition. The color will get lost in this dish, buried in all that sauce. But I like the color green in almost anything I eat. Looking good. I like it. This will be used for when you come over. I'll feed it to you. You're used to eating it. And it's never too early to have a little wine. What was her name? The French cook. You know you're getting old if you don't remember. What's her name? Like an old girlfriend.
You're here.
All right. Now, Childs. The lady's name was Childs. See, this is the part where you take the recipe into your own hands. You decide whether you like onions and how much and what shape and all that kind of stuff. Just no hard rule. Cooking is about using good ingredients, treating them right and simple, and like, hello, what more do you want? Read the labels on everything you buy. In general, if something went to a factory, from the farm to the factory to you, nothing good happened to it in the factory. But it's hard to do without completely, without going to some processing. And that's why the ingredients then become the prime issue, as well as reputation. Certain companies are known to do better than others. Julia Childs. It comes to you. Eventually. Senior moment. Like I said. Now, normally, you'd be having some pasta cooking in a dish, in a pot next to it. I'm not going to go there today. Can't say pasta's pasta because same thing. Read the labels. Fresh pasta's somewhat difficult to get. Most supermarkets won't handle it. Cooks quicker, could be better, could not. Dried pasta, so convenient, lasts forever. I think I've got some stuff that was gotten from a pharaoh's tomb in my thing and using it to this day. Dried pasta. All the stuffed pastas, stuffed with peaches, the tortellinis, the little cute little guys. I mean, used to travel more, did a stint in Italy once. Sat down in the outside little restaurant like the Toccamon Pa, ordered the tortellini. It was heaven. It was. Now, if I had those same exact tortellinis here at the Dome in Marietta, it probably wouldn't taste the same. I think half of it was the ambiance, the romance. Now we're going to have a nice tomato sauce. Now, one of the old standbys, of course, tomatoes and meatballs, or even easier, tomatoes and meat sauce. We're going to go through that in another program because there's plenty of variations. But if I were to do it, I would have meat sauce, chopped meat, sometimes with some sausage thrown in, sausage meat. Take a sausage, take off the skin, throw that in, gives a little more body, texture, flavor, takes it into a different area. Lamb, meatballs, etc. But you pre-cook that, and you either pre-cook them, usually like brown them on all sides, doing that process of where you're browning the onions, or you do it in a separate pan, maybe have a little more control or whatever. Get that. The simple way is to get the chopped meat done. I like to press the chopped meat together, kind of be a big pancake hamburger, and then flip it and cook it. And now, when I throw it in the meat, it's more crumbly, it's chunky, and better. I like that eating rather than this sauce, meat sauce all over the place. Both are nice, it just depends on what you feel like. At this point, if you're really hungry, you're ready. But because I just threw those raw garlics in there, give it another 5 minutes and give it a taste. And I'll get myself a little spoon here. In fact, I want to get romantic. I got a wooden spoon somewhere hidden. Good. Quite good. And before you eat, remember the little so-called thank you. For I'm conscious of the forces and the people it took to get this food in front of me. I'm thankful and deserving. And that puts it in perspective. So thanks for joining me on a simple pasta dish, tomato sauce dish. We can put a simple spaghetti dish on the side, keep it really simple, or get those stuffed rigatonis and tortellinis, and the Italians come up with 100, actually more, shapes of pasta. So you be well, and we'll catch up with you for the next one. Apophatic, what cooking isn't food for you in this modern age. Don't just take it for granted. Take an apophatic approach and see what you can do about it. If you understand what food is not a fast food hamburger. Okay, ciao, Bambino. See you.